Welcome back to the Live Worthy podcast, where we urge and equip you to live a life worthy of the calling you've received, for you have been called by God. I'm your host, Erin Aruda, and joining me today is my dear friend, Sandra Tolsma. Welcome, Sandra.
Thank you, Erin. It's good to be here.
It's good to have you. You are the founder of Anna's Circle, which is actually how I met you the first time, was at a Ministers Connection, a gathering of leaders, and you were speaking about evangelism and sort of imparting to us the importance of going out to the nations and carrying the gospel. And I was so connected because I love that, and I was like, I have to know her. And so we've been connecting and traveled together since then.
All the way to Ecuador.
Yeah, which was amazing.
It was amazing. Highlight moments involved you talking to pastors there in Ecuador, and you catching the vision of the gospel going far and wide.
Yes, it was very moving, life-changing. It was a life-changing trip. For me, it was so good to be with you. So I'm so glad you're joining us, because we're going to catch some of what you bring. And we are in an assignment series, which is about marriage. And so we're talking today a little bit about divorce. So I would love for you to just share with us a little bit about this season of your life, what it looks like. It's a little bit of a spoiler, but not really. So can you share with us a little bit about your season of life right now?
Right now, I am in a mountaintop season. I share my time between Michigan and Florida, half-time each. I am a wife to Patrick, a mother of 3 adult children, and grandparent to 13 grandchildren.
Wow.
Who affectionately call me Granny, my favorite name to be called in all of the world.
Oh, that's cute.
And I am the president of Anna's Circle, which keeps me really busy training women how to effectively share their faith. And earlier I said you caught the vision. Well, you had already caught that vision. I think what really happened on that trip to Ecuador was that we saw how the church mobilizing outward was the key to reaching the world.
Yes, that's it. So can you give us just a little snippet about Anna's Circle? Because the story is so compelling how you got there. So I would love to just share, because we want to link it. I mean, it's such a phenomenal organization. So would you share a little bit about it?
Yeah, well, I, for the past dozen years, have felt the nudge of the Holy Spirit to go out and share my faith with others. But I wasn't trained or equipped to do that. I just knew He was calling me out. And I talked to my small group about it. I talked to my pastor about it. And it just felt like it was falling on deaf ears. That they wanted to bring people into the church rather than mobilizing the church outward. Well, then about 3 years after I first felt that nudge, I started working for an organization called Multiplication Network. And they train men and women all over the world how to start healthy churches. And they do a good job of it.
Yeah.
I mean, this past year, over 14,000 men and women were trained to start new churches.
It's incredible.
During one of the trips I made to visit church planters in Tanzania, I met a woman named Anna. And she struck me because she sold everything that she had, moved to a village, and started a church there. She started first by just sharing her faith with the people in the village. She started with the chief and his wife and prayed for them and their needs, and miracles began to happen, and the chief and his wife were the first ones to say yes to Jesus. And then it was a domino effect. So in this village where there was only one mosque, now there is a Christian church representing Jesus Christ, and it is bursting at the seams. Well, when I came back and told people in the United States about Anna, they loved hearing her story. And the question that I started to hear frequently was, how can I be more like Anna? Well, I love good questions.
Yeah.
And I thought, how can I be more like Anna? And so I was blessed by Multiplication Network to take their training and contextualize it for women not to start a new church here in the United States, but how to go out into their community, become really good at relationship evangelism, and invite people to say yes to Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a 12-session training. It can be done online or in person. It can be contextualized, so you can whittle it down to your church calendar. It can be 8 weeks or whatever you need it to be. But we have developed this, and now we have women taking this training in several states in the United States. And in Canada and 2 countries in Africa.
That's amazing. Yeah, I've done it. It's awesome. I loved it. I love your approach, and I love how simple you make it for women to what they're already doing. It's like a very on the way, like the way Jesus moved as you go.
Yes.
And I just love that.
Yeah, so much of it is responding to the Holy Spirit, listening to his voice, and recognizing that he's opening doors all the time. And I think women that take the training have said they're more intentional now because they are aware that the Spirit is presenting them opportunities, and they feel such a sense of purpose joining with the Spirit in God's mission to reach people with the good news about Jesus.
It's such a good purpose-filled life.
It is.
It's what we're here to do.
And that he wants to do that with us.
Yeah.
Is so humbling and exhilarating simultaneously.
Yeah, it is. It's just like you're on this great adventure with him. Well, your life is full, clearly. And that hasn't always been the season that, you've had the ups and downs. You're in a mountaintop, which is, I love hearing that. That's a very exciting time when we think about seasons, and not on a cliffhanger. That's great too, right?
Yes.
So could you tell us a little bit about your journey of walking out the assignment from, you have actually written a book on the matter of marriage, a well-sold book, right?
Yes.
So I'd love to hear about that, finding yourself in a new environment and kind of starting over. Can you tell us a little bit about that journey?
Yeah, that journey takes me all the way back to being 19 years old and meeting a man that literally swept me off my feet. I was very much an introvert at the time, and he was an extrovert. And I was looking for a way to get into the middle of a group of people. And he looked like the answer to that desire that I had. And very quickly I got pregnant, made the decision to marry, and I knew, even leading up to the wedding, that it was precarious at best. But even the first night of my marriage, just so confirming that this was not a good plan. But I had taken matters into my own hands, and this looked like the best solution to a very bad predicament.
Yeah. We often kind of take that ownership of our mistake, right? It does put us in a precarious spot.
It does.
And the idea that we present ourselves is that I got myself into this mess.
Get myself out.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so that was the way that you moved through. And then tell us a little bit about what happened through that process, what it looked like, and even the book that you wrote. I'd love to hear a little bit more about that process.
Yes. So my marriage was filled with control.
Yeah.
By my spouse over me. I've come to learn language to describe it. I don't like putting labels on other people, so I will just describe my marriage as being destructive.
Yeah.
Leslie Vernick writes about the emotionally destructive relationship or marriage, and that's what I found myself in. It was abusive emotionally, verbally, spiritually. I didn't have any marks on my body, but my soul was battered. My esteem was crushed. I was regularly demeaned and belittled. And my identity, which wasn't great coming into the relationship, was completely decimated within a few years. As God would have it, there was a woman that came into my life who was praying for a friend. And when she saw me walking around our neighborhood with my 2 little kids at the time, she thought, I think that's my friend. I'm going to go meet her. She ended up to be a godsend because I was able to disclose all of the dysfunction to her. And her response was priceless. She didn't look shocked or horrified, but she would say, that is not normal. That is not good. And so I didn't feel judged. I felt like she saw what I was living with and was able to name it what it was, even though I didn't have the courage to name it.
So, that happens so often.
So having this safe other in my life was pivotal.
And
being able to unload so much of what was going on behind closed doors really made space for me to seek God. It's like I don't even really fully understand that. I don't even know if I've really dug deep into that, but it was at that point, once I started talking to her, that I thought, well, what is God asking of me in this situation? So I dug into the Word. Oh man, He was so close to me during that valley. And I cried out to Him. I called out to Him. I poured out my heart to a good friend. I sought Christian counseling and therapy and just worked on me and trying to respond to abuse in a biblical manner. And it didn't work. It didn't work to improve the marriage. I was growing, but it didn't work to improve the marriage.
Yeah.
And so I got to the point at 11 years where I asked him to leave. I asked for a separation. And so he went and sought counseling himself at that point. What he wasn't willing to do until that point, he was then.
Yeah.
So it was a few weeks that he lived with a family from our church, sought godly counsel, started making changes that were visible to me, and it was enough for me after a certain point to ask him to come back home. Interestingly enough, my close friend thought it was too soon. The people he was staying with thought it was just the right time. And I wanted it to be better, to be whole. So I invited him back. And really, things had changed dramatically. I mean, going from verbal, spiritual, emotional abuse to improvements in that, holding himself accountable, being responsible, apologizing for things that he had done, was a huge change. And it felt good. And it was better.
Yeah.
As I look back now and look at my journals, he was still objectifying me and all of that. But at least the behavior, the treatment was improved.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So that's when I wrote my book.
Wow.
Because I thought, wow, everything that I learned worked.
It worked.
It worked. And so I wrote a book that was called The Beautiful Wife, still in print today. And it was 12 lessons that I had learned in the valley of what I now know was destruction. And it is a good book for women in difficult or disappointing marriages. It is not a good book for women who are in destructive marriages. And so what happened over a number of years is that the bad behavior began to return. Without accountability in my former husband's life, things gradually got right back to where they were, and with age worsened.
Yeah. Wow.
So I was like the proverbial frog in a pot of boiling water. And
slowly dying.
And at 38 years of marriage, so fast forward from 11, asking him to leave, all the way to 38, I was contemplating suicide. I really felt that death was preferable to divorce as a woman in the church. I thought about my children, my grandchildren, all the women who had read my book, the women I had mentored, and I felt this heavy responsibility to stay. And so I did, until I couldn't. And I remember it was during a time of prayer and fasting, and I was actually asking the question, do I stay or do I leave? Never in a million years guessing that the answer would be I would leave.
Yeah.
Honestly, Erin.
Sure.
That I was just asking the question.
Yeah.
And I was fasting because I know that when you fast, it's easier to hear the Spirit when you quiet down the noise of everything else in your life. So I was fasting, and it was 30 days, and I hadn't heard anything, so I just kept going. And I was outside on a walk, and I heard something I'd never heard before.
What was that?
You have a choice. Well, I knew that was an answer to the question I had asked. I also knew it was God's voice because I didn't think I did. It would not have been something I would have said to myself. So then I doubled down in just trying to do the right things.
Yeah.
Thinking I choose to hold him accountable and to say the hard things and to keep myself pure in the process. And I couldn't do it. And so many things happened in a 2 to 3 week period of time that were so destructive that I just happened to be up on a lake where my best friend had a cottage. I wasn't staying with her, I was staying with my brother, and she was there, and I made the decision that I was going to leave.
We interrupt this program to bring you a profound announcement about a little girl who found overflowing oil in her farm, and her name is Mabel. I wrote this story. It is now available on Amazon. We'd love for you to check it out. And I wrote this story with my girls in mind. What Mabel discovers is that some people think that only certain vessels are worthy to carry the oil that she's just found. But she discovers that every vessel is worthy to hold the oil that she's discovered. So we want to put it in your hands. It's on Amazon right now. So click the link in the podcast notes or here on the video. Now back to the show. It's so interesting listening to your story back. When we think about destructive marriages and there's something so knit into the fiber of our being that says, even if it's destructive, I am meant to take all of this. Not that Jesus has already taken this for me, but that this is my cross to bear, and almost become a martyr in something that Jesus is now, because we believe we don't have a choice. That I've made my bed. It just continues. I've made my bed. I have to lie in it. This is my own. This is of my making, of my choosing. Yeah. And so there's no way that there's anything else available to me. So when God comes in and says to you, you have a choice, that there are two options on the table, and he's not. And because for me, I thought to choose divorce because I was divorced in a very similar situation, though I didn't wait 38 years, but I thought to choose divorce meant to choose to choose a path away from God.
Yes.
That's what I thought I was choosing.
Yes.
And I wanted God. So I thought God equals this destructive marriage.
Yes. Yes. So when I think about what lie did I believe
Yes.
that held me there for so long, it was that God prioritized preserving my destructive marriage over protecting me. When I first realized that, to be honest, I thought it was heresy.
Yeah, I know. And people may think that it's heresy. That's the destructive part of even having that thought.
Mm-hmm. When a wise, older Christian woman said that to me, I literally went, you got to put a whole lot more work with that, because I need to be sure.
Yeah.
I need to be sure. And my big takeaway from making the decision to divorce, someone asked me, what is your biggest takeaway? That God loved me so much more than I even realized. And I knew he loved me. I had a relationship with him, but he loved me so much more. And I think lies are always rooted in identity.
Sure.
And
what do you mean by that specifically? For you, what did it mean that lie was rooted in identity?
I was lovable, but I had to perform in order to receive that love, in order for him to be close to me, to not abandon me, which...
It's Vashti and King Xerxes.
I love that story.
Girl.
I have a lot of respect for her.
She said nope.
Yeah.
And he did. He got rid of her because she wouldn't perform for him.
Yes, and I love it that you brought her up because I used to point her out in teaching as someone who didn't do the right thing. And rereading that passage over and over and over, it's like, oh wow, I have great admiration and respect for her that she refused to be an object. But she saw herself as a queen.
Yeah.
And she wasn't going to lower herself to base treatment.
Yeah. And when you think about what it led to with Esther, Esther didn't have to perform for Xerxes. It's like she ushered in a new legacy of queen.
Yes, she did.
That said, you know what? I'm going to go to the throne with God's protection, to your point. Not destruction, not performance. But I'm going to come along with a Mordecai, and I'm going to know that I can be in the throne room as the queen that I am and call for what God has authored me to call for. That's a different level of identity, to your point.
Yes.
Oof.
Yes.
She was a bold woman, huh?
She was a bold woman. And I aspire to be that bold.
I think you are.
The level of freedom.
Mm-hmm.
My word, once the divorce was final, was freedom to be all that God called me to be. I didn't need to hide. I didn't need to protect terrible sin.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I was reading Jonah.
Mm-hmm.
And the question in a Discovery Bible study was asked, who do you relate to, Jonah or the Ninevites? So I'm reading through this story that I've read so many times. When it hit me, neither. I relate to the sailors who heard from God and from Jonah that Jonah was to be thrown overboard. But what did they do? They tried harder.
Oh.
They kept rowing. They exhausted themselves trying to take matters in their hand to do what they thought looked like the right thing. They were trying to protect Jonah. They were trying to protect Jonah, the sinner, the one running from God. That's no good. That is no good. And yet,
that just freed somebody. I'm just going to say it freed somebody. You just stop rowing the boat.
Stop rowing.
Let them be in the whale if they need to.
Yeah.
Stop rowing the boat. Wow.
Yeah, freedom. The capacity, the increased mental, emotional, physical capacity that I gained post-divorce was unlike anything I have ever experienced. And I feel like it's growing over time.
Mm-hmm.
I was so oppressed and depressed that I was thinking wrong. I was ignoring the people that I could influence in my life. I was so busy trying to cover sin and protect people, and God never asked me to do that.
Wow.
He had so much better for me.
Mm-hmm.
It might not be like this for every woman that's listening to this, but after 38 years to be released from destruction, I never looked back.
Wow.
It has been the biggest surprise of my adult life and the best gift the Lord could have given me the choice to choose. I'm glad that I chose that.
And it,
No regrets.
I know that's a big deal to share
It is.
in that way.
I have children
Yeah.
that have borne extra weight because of my decision, and I knew that some of that would fall on them. And yet, we serve a big God who cares for them. Just like the God of the storm, the God of angel armies could have, protected those sailors and all of their goods could have been saved.
Yeah.
I never thought about that before. My children are gifts from God to me. My grandchildren are such tremendous gifts, and I didn't trust God to be the protector of them. So I kept rowing to my own demise. God is good.
Yes.
So faithful.
Even when we don't see it. And I think that's the point of what you're saying, is that he's better than we think. Like, the narrative of who God is in our mind can confuse us to believe that he is a destructive God. Maybe there's a place in us that says he's destructive. I read that story and then I see my husband or my ex-husband or whatever, and so that must be what God looks like. And so we just associate ourselves with that narrative of God and his character. And he interrupted that narrative and said, you have a choice. Yeah. I really love you and I want to protect you.
Yes.
That's a big deal to say yes to that.
It is. Not an easy choice, to be sure, but he will confirm it over and over if it's from him.
So we have time for one more question. Can you believe that went by so fast?
No.
What would you say is the most important truth a woman who has been divorced can hold on to?
Okay, I'm so glad you asked that question. So very glad. God still has an amazing plan for your life. And when you believe that he loves you more than you can ever imagine, you can hold on to that dream. I would say, first of all, that I would encourage you to get into the Word, grab hold of His words for you. Seek out wise counselors and get the healing that you need from a destructive marriage so that you can walk fully into the amazing plans He has for you. And a wise pastor on my journey asked me a question post-divorce that has stuck with me, and I love to share it with every woman I know that is in this place. And that is, what are the desires that God has given you? And to be honest, I had no idea when He asked me that question. I had been so busy surviving, I had no idea how to begin to thrive.
Wow.
And I really did that work. I was serious about that work. So we transitioned from healing to desire work. What are those desires? Because I believe that that amazing plan that God has for you is rooted in the desires He's given you. He's planted desires in there a long time ago. And He wants to see those seeds burst through the soil, start to grow, gain life and strength, and produce great fruit. So, yeah, that's the truth I want you to know. God has an amazing plan for you. And if you want to discover what that is, it is rooted in your desires. Do some work on what your desires are.
Amen. Thank you so much for being here. That was one of my favorite conversations. I just love you. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.